Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shan, for those of you just tuning in, and Pink Lenses is a platform that I've created to help stop and prevent intimate partner violence. And from time to time, I will also talk about general issues that affect women, right? So let's get right into today's topic, which is intuition. Intuition is basically a gut feeling that you get that alerts you when something is a little off, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could be good, it could be neutral, but it's just something that you can't quite put your finger on because there's no concrete evidence that this is what's going on or this is what will happen, right? So why is intuition important? Intuition is important, especially when dating and in relationships, because not everything is what it appears to be. For example, you could be dating someone and they're saying all the right things, they're doing all the right things, but you just kind of get a iffy, funny vibe that this person may not be portraying themselves to be, somebody that's actually an accurate representation of who they are, right? So for example, when I go out on dates, I have fun, but I'm also paying attention to certain mannerisms. I'm paying attention to, certain things that they say, their body language, so I can get a sense of who they are, right? But I'm also paying attention because I want to make sure that this is a safe person. I want to make sure that this is a person that's not trying to, take advantage of me. And there's only so much that you can know right off the gate. Sometimes it takes years to even really know a person. But normally we get signs along the way that tells you if this person is genuine or not, or if they have an alternative motive or not, right? So what had me thinking about intuition was really the recent report a while ago about the Baltimore woman who was killed allegedly by a panhandler, but it came out recently that the husband and the stepdaughter were actually charged in the murder. And I wasn't really following the story too much, but when I found out that it really wasn't the panhandler that killed the woman, I started to research the story a little bit more. And they were talking about the husband and how he had been in and out of jail and in trouble and different things of that nature. And I don't know, the whole story. No one will ever know the whole story. Only the people who are closest to those individuals will know. But one thing that I realized was, just his record alone was kind of a red flag for me when I was reading the reports. And it said that he had been in prison for, robbing a bank 3 times and doing all this other stuff. And in my mind, I was thinking, a lot of times as women, we go into relationships, we go into situations, and even the person tells us about a past or, different bits and pieces of their history that may signal, okay, something's not quite right. A lot of times, because we're nurturers, we tend to be, good-hearted individuals, a lot of us, and we say, well, yes, that was in the past, but I believe they've changed, or I believe they can change with the right person, or for the right person, right? So a lot of times we do that. And that's not to say that people can't change, because I do believe people change, but that's not the case for everybody. And when we pay attention to those signs and signals, we should use that information to determine whether or not this is somebody who needs to be in my life, or this is somebody who is going to have my best interest in heart long term. So it just made me think about that. It made me think about how many times we see red flags and we drive right past them. And I'm not saying that that was her particular situation. May she rest in peace. But what I am saying is that there are many times that intuition has saved me, because a person was trying to portray themselves to be one way and they end up being totally different. And had I not listened to my intuition, I could have ended up in similar situations. So that's why intuition is important. You just have to be wise and protect yourself, knowing that not everyone is looking out for you. And we live in a crazy world. So it's just best to practice listening and feeling and slowing down long enough to assess the situation and that person correctly. So now that I've talked about what intuition is and why is it important, what are some ways that we can practice intuition? And I've already mentioned a few of them, which is slowing down, listening, being attentive. A lot of times we're rushing into things because we're trying to fill a void, or we're lonely, or we're trying to run away from a problem, or something that's going on with us. So we tend to rush into things in order to feel better about that situation, or in order to feel a greater sense of self-worth. And that's why I've learned that if you enter relationships from a place of fulfillment, you won't be needing desperately that person to fill you up, right? So when you enter relationships from a place of fulfillment, a place of self-love, a place of self-worth, you're not dependent on that person to give you those things. So it becomes easier to really sit back and watch their behavior and watch their actions and listen to the things they talk about their past, about their history, about their interactions with other people, about their relationships with their family, their mother, their father, their children. A lot of those things are factors in how they will treat you. And I've learned that over the years, when I've navigated different relationships. So those are just a few things, slowing down, paying attention, being alert, and being willing to walk away if you're presented with information that makes you go, I don't know if this is something that I want to get into, or this is probably going to be too much drama for me, or this is probably going to disrupt my peace and my happiness and my freedom. So those are just a few of the ways that you can practice listening to your intuition, and trusting your intuition. A lot of intuition is felt in the body. You may feel it in your stomach. You may feel it in your chest. You may feel it just by having, some people break out into hives, or some people may break out into a rash. Some people. For me, I just kind of get that like eerie feeling in my arms and like my chest. Rarely do I get like a gut feeling in my stomach, but normally somewhere in my body, I'm feeling something that makes me uncomfortable around a certain person or in a particular situation. And generally, if I'm paying attention and I'm, very in tune with what's going on, normally it turns out to be what I'm thinking it is. So those are just a few of the ways you can practice listening to your intuition. And not just in dating and relationships. It could be business. It could be career. It could be deciding on what your next move is. Should you move to a particular state? Should you take this job? Should you have a baby right now? Any major life decision, you can rely on your intuition to help guide you and lead you. So again, this is really just supposed to be a brief video about intuition, the ways in which you can start to learn to pay attention to your intuition and practice trusting it. It will help you along the way. So if you like this video, please comment, like, share, subscribe, and I look forward to creating more videos around similar topics. Y'all have a good day. And thank you for tuning in for my channel. Thank you for tuning in to my channel.